Summary of Where the Crawdads Sing, written by Delia Owens. Chapter 1. Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens is a novel that skillfully weaves together the natural beauty of the North Carolina marshes with the poignant story of a young girl named Kia. The provided excerpt takes us into a crucial moment in Kia's life when her mother, Ma, unexpectedly leaves the family home, leaving Kia and her siblings in a state of uncertainty. The morning, described in the passage, is hot and thick with fog, setting the stage for a day that will alter the course of Kia's life. The marsh is vividly portrayed, with the moist breath hanging on the oaks and pines, and the palmetto patches standing unusually quiet. The atmosphere is both serene and mysterious, with the slow flap of the heron's wings adding to the unique ambience of the marsh. As Kia is engrossed in her morning chores of scrubbing grits, the narrative introduces a sudden and unexpected event, the sound of the screen door slapping shut. This noise prompts Kia to pause, and she becomes acutely aware of the silence that follows. The marsh, which is usually filled with the sounds of nature, is now hushed. Kia senses that someone has left the shack, and her curiosity is piqued. The focus then shifts to the character of Kia, a 6-year-old girl who is the youngest of 5 siblings. Kia's innocence and vulnerability are evident as she stops her chores and stands on a stool to peer out. Her world is momentarily suspended as she listens to her own breathing, trying to make sense of the unusual event unfolding. The narrative beautifully captures Kia's perspective, emphasizing her heightened awareness of the world around her. When she runs to the porch, the reader is drawn into her experience as she sees her mother, Ma, walking down the sandy lane. The detailed description of Ma's attire, particularly the alligator skin heels and the blue train case, adds an element of mystery to her departure. The significance of these details becomes apparent as Kia's brother, Jody, later comments on Ma's departure wearing her only going-out pair of shoes and carrying a case. Kia's decision to open the door and stand on the brick-and-board steps further highlights her curiosity and longing for connection. The reader can feel the tension as Kia watches her mother walking away, the blue train case becoming a symbol of the unknown. Kia's anticipation and hope that Ma will return are palpable, and her decision to wait on the porch steps adds to the emotional weight of the scene. The narrative then provides insights into the family dynamics. Kia's family lives in a rough-cut shack surrounded by palmettos and oak forests. The siblings, squeezed together like penned rabbits, have a close-knit yet challenging relationship. The absence of Ma is felt keenly, and the passage subtly hints at a history of Ma leaving temporarily in the past. However, this time feels different to Kia, and the reader is left wondering about the reasons behind Ma's departure. The vivid description of the marsh and its surroundings serves as more than just a backdrop, it becomes a character in itself. The marsh, referred to as the graveyard of the Atlantic, has a rich history of being a refuge for various individuals, from runaway slaves to maroons and woodsmen. The marsh dwellers, shaped by the challenging environment, have their own unwritten laws and a deep connection to the land. This historical context enriches the narrative, providing a broader understanding of the characters' lives and struggles. The year 1952 is mentioned, grounding the story in a specific time period. The aftermath of World Wars and the Great Depression is evident in the struggles of the characters, and the marsh becomes a haven for those seeking escape or a new beginning. The passage subtly explores themes of survival, adaptation, and the complex relationship between humans and nature. Returning to the present moment, the family copes with Ma's absence. Pa, smelling of fish and drum liquor, demands supper. The atmosphere in the shack is somber, and the absence of Ma is felt not only in the physical space, but also in the dynamics of the family. The siblings, eyes downcast, prepare a meal of red beans and cornbread, but the communal aspect of sitting at the table is disrupted. Each family member eats in solitude, and Kia, unable to eat, sits on the porch steps, looking down the lane. Kia's inner turmoil is conveyed through the detailed description of her physical appearance. Tall for her age, bone-skinny, with deep tanned skin and hair as black and thick as crow wings, Kia is a striking figure. Her silence and contemplation on the porch steps reflect the complexity of her emotions. The passage provides a glimpse into the routine of the family and the impact of Ma's departure on each member. The narrative then shifts to the next morning, where Kia resumes her post on the porch steps, awaiting Ma's return. The marsh is veiled in fog, creating a surreal and dreamlike atmosphere. Kia's barefoot presence on the tidal flats is described with sensory detail, emphasizing her connection to the natural surroundings. The passage captures the essence of a 6-year-old's curiosity and imagination as Kia engages in activities like drumming her toes and watching minnows. Jody, Kia's brother, hollers to her from the palmettos, offering a temporary distraction from her worries. The suggestion of playing explorers triggers a brief respite from reality as Kia and Jody engage in a make-believe game, racing and shouting as they navigate the woods. The scene reflects the innocence of childhood and the temporary escape it provides from the challenges of life. As they reach the large oak with a makeshift lookout tower and tree fort, the narrative seamlessly transitions between the real and the imaginary. Kia, usually relegated to the role of a slave girl in their games, is granted the position of captain for the day. This shift in dynamics reflects Jody's attempt to alleviate Kia's distress and offer a moment of joy amidst the uncertainty. The imagery of the oak with its jutting arms and rusty nails evokes a sense of both adventure and decay. The tree fort, a place of imaginative play, is described as falling apart, mirroring the fragile nature of Kia's world. The siblings engage in a playful sword fight, momentarily losing themselves in the joy of the moment. However, the narrative gently returns to the weight of reality as Kia and Jody sit together on a mossy log. Jody, sensing Kia's need for comfort, is unable to find the right words. The silence between them becomes a poignant reflection of the unspoken pain and uncertainty that permeates their lives. The shadows of water striders on the water's surface become a metaphor for the fleeting nature of childhood innocence. The passage concludes with Kia returning to the porch steps, resuming her vigil as she waits for Ma's return. The fog, darkness, and croaking frogs create an immersive backdrop for this quiet and introspective moment. Kia's face, still and lips pressed into a thin line, conveys a resilience beyond her years. The absence of tears, despite the heaviness in her chest, reflects Kia's internal strength and her determination to face the unknown. In summary, the 1,500-word exploration of the excerpt from Where the Crawdads Sing delves into the intricate layers of the narrative. The passage introduces readers to Chapter 2. The passage from Where the Crawdads Sing unfolds with a palpable atmosphere of suspense and foreboding as Kia, a 6-year-old girl, witnesses her mother, Ma, abruptly leaving their family home. The scene is set in the North Carolina marshes, a place of enchanting yet unpredictable beauty. The air is thick with fog, and the surroundings are alive with the sounds of nature. The vivid imagery of the marsh creates a backdrop that is both serene and mysterious, mirroring the emotional landscape of the characters. The narrative plunges into Kia's world as she diligently scrubs a pot of grits, immersed in her morning chores. The mundane act of cleaning is disrupted by the unexpected sound of the screen door slamming shut. The sudden silence that ensues in the marsh, usually teeming with life, amplifies the significance of Ma's departure. Kia's heightened awareness is conveyed through her paused breaths and the stillness that envelopes her. As Kia rushes to the porch, the reader is taken on a visual journey. The marsh, described as the graveyard of the Atlantic, is rendered with meticulous detail. The moist breath of the oaks and pines, the dense palmetto patches, and the silent fog contribute to a setting that is both enchanting and ominous. The marsh is not merely a backdrop, it becomes a character with a rich history of harboring escapees, a haven for those seeking refuge from the hardships of the outside world. Ma's departure is a turning point for Kia and her family, and the details of her exit carry an air of mystery. Ma's attire, particularly the alligator skin heels and the blue train case, becomes symbolic. Kia watches as her mother walks down the sandy lane, leaving a trail of uncertainty in her wake. The blue train case, a seemingly mundane object, takes on a deeper significance, becoming a vessel of the unknown and a symbol of Ma's departure. The passage provides insight into the family dynamics, portraying the siblings as a close-knit but challenged unit. The absence of Ma is acutely felt, and the reader is hinted at a history of her periodic departures. The shack they inhabit is described as a rough-cut dwelling, squeezed between palmettos and oak forests, emphasizing the harshness of their living conditions. The departure of each family member is chronicled, with their ages and names gradually fading from Kia's memory, leaving only the generic labels of Missy, Murph, and Mandy. The narrative then shifts to the morning after Ma's departure, and the family dynamics continue to unravel. Kia and her remaining brother, Jody, attempt to create a sense of normalcy. Jody cooks grits and scrambled eggs for breakfast, a poignant moment of shared solitude. The absence of the older siblings is keenly felt, and Kia is left with a small pile of socks, a tangible reminder of those who have left. The portrayal of Pa, the father, adds complexity to the family dynamics. His arrival disrupts the fragile routine, bringing a bottle with him. The atmosphere becomes tense as he sprawls across his bed, and the reader can sense the palpable discomfort in the air. The narrative delicately explores the impact of Ma's departure on each family member, highlighting the emotional strains within the shack. A pivotal moment occurs when Pa, in a fit of rage, sets fire to Ma's possessions in the yard. The flames consume Ma's paintings, dresses, and books, symbolizing the erasure of her presence from their lives. The intensity of the scene is heightened by Kia's desperate attempt to salvage the paintings, her face and arms burning as she reaches toward the fire. The destruction becomes a metaphor for the family's unraveling, and the passage skillfully captures the emotional turmoil experienced by Kia. In the aftermath of the fire, Kia learns to adapt to her new reality. The narrative explores her survival instincts as she navigates the challenges of living with Pa. The passage vividly portrays Kia's resilience, emphasizing her ability to move between sunspots and shadows, avoiding Pa's wrath. The marsh becomes her refuge, a place of solace and escape. The passage delicately portrays the delicate balance between survival and vulnerability in Kia's life. As the narrative unfolds, Jody, the last remaining sibling, also decides to leave. The emotional weight of his departure is palpable as he imparts survival tips to Kia. The exchange between them reveals the harsh realities of their existence and Kia's isolation. The reader is left wondering why no one took her with them, adding another layer to the mystery of Kia's abandonment. Jody's departure marks a significant moment of change for Kia. Alone and vulnerable, she grapples with the harshness of her reality. The passage delicately captures her sense of abandonment and the ache of solitude. The familiar scenes of the shack, once warm with the aroma of baked bread and simmering stews, are now stale and silent. The absence of familial warmth is accentuated as Kia realizes the mundane yet essential question, who's gonna cook? The passage transitions seamlessly between external and internal landscapes, exploring Kia's emotional journey. The details of the shack, with its makeshift arrangements and the Frigidaire serving as a cupboard, paint a picture of destitution. Kia's inner monologue adds depth to the narrative, revealing her longing for connection and the emptiness that accompanies her solitude. The narrative then shifts to Kia's attempt to procure food from the village of Barkley Cove. The portrayal of the town, surrounded by the marsh and the ocean, creates a vivid contrast to Kia's isolated existence. The two streets, Main and Broad, are described with weathered buildings, emphasizing the town's worn-down appearance. The Piggly Wiggly grocery, the Western Auto, and other establishments become symbols of a distant world that Kia ventures into. The encounter with Miss Pansy Price and the boys on bikes introduces a glimpse of social dynamics in Barkley Cove. The societal norms and expectations are subtly explored as the boys are scolded for their behavior, highlighting the hierarchical structure of the community. Kia's presence as an outsider, referred to as swamp trash, is evident in Miss Pansy's disapproval. Kia's journey to buy groceries becomes a significant moment of both challenge and triumph. The reader witnesses her determination as she navigates the sandy tracks, revealing her resilience and resourcefulness. The mention of the year 1952 grounds the narrative in a specific historical context, providing insights into the challenges faced by the characters in the aftermath of world wars and economic hardships. The passage concludes with Kia returning home, struggling to prepare grits, and eventually finding solace in turnip greens. The stark description of an empty Frigidaire, the absence of eggs in the chicken coop, and the challenges of tending to the chickens add layers to Kia's struggle for survival. The passage subtly delves into themes of self-sufficiency, resilience, and the harsh realities of poverty. In summary, The 1,000-word exploration of the excerpt from Where the Crawdads Sing provides a detailed analysis of the narrative's key elements. The passage skillfully navigates through the richly depicted North Carolina marshes, unraveling the emotional complexities of Kia's life. The portrayal of Ma's departure, the family dynamics, and Kia's journey of survival are masterfully